All right, hello. Welcome back to Math is Easy, step by step. Here's part 23 of answering and finding zeros of the function. This is question number 3 and how to answer this particular type of question. You have find all the zeros of the function x cubed minus 12x squared plus 20x equals f of x. You have option A, 0, -4 and 3. Option B, 2 and 4 and 5. Option C, 0 and 2 and 10. And option D, 0 and -2 and 5. So the key here is this is x to the third power. This particular function is going to have 3 answers. So if any of your options only give you 2 answers, more than likely it is a distractor and not an answer to the question. So let's go ahead and jump right in here. Let's take a look at this function. Remember, you're going to set this equal to 0 and then solve for x. We want to first ask ourselves, is there a greatest common factor in each of those terms that you can factor out? So let's go ahead and take a look. That is the question you're going to want to ask yourself here. Is there a greatest common factor in each of these terms that you can factor out? Again, that's the greatest common factor. Remember, you want to set that f of x equal to 0. We're going to start with asking, is there something in each of these terms that we can factor out or divide evenly into each of these terms? Well, there's no constant in front of that x cubed other than the invisible 1. I have a -12 here and a 20. Those are both even numbers, but since that x cubed value has an odd number, the invisible 1, can't really divide a consonant, that's a number, into each of these 3 terms. However, I do know I have at least one x here. There's 2 x's here and 3 x's here, so I could divide evenly an x into each of those terms. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. Yes, there's a greatest common factor. It's the value of x. It's that x to the 1 power. And so since I can divide an x into each of these terms, I can pull out an x, factor out an x, and then simplify and factor a little bit further. Let me show you what that's going to look like using expanded form. So x cubed is x times x times x. Remember, I'm going to divide or factor out x to the 1 power. Plus plus, -12x squared is a -12 times x times x. Divided by that 1x, I'm going to factor out. Plus plus, 20 times x is 20 times x. Divided by x to the first power, then I'm going to factor out equal to 0. Equal to 0. So anything over itself is 1. So x over x is 1. X over x is 1. And x over x is 1. What does that leave me? That leaves me, I factored out x here. X times x is x squared. Plus plus. -12 times 1x is a -12x. Plus plus. 20 times 1 is just 20. Equal to 0. Now, I factored out this x, and here I have a value, an expression inside the parentheses here, where I think I can do what's called reverse FOIL. You set up 2 parentheses. X times x is x squared, so I know I'm going to have an x in both of these parentheses, right? Again, x times x is x squared. Now I need to find 2 numbers that multiply to 20, but when you add them together, you'll get -12. And if you need to go and review my videos on FOIL or factoring, please help yourself. It will make this crystal clear for you and you'll understand. So I'm going to set up my factor tree right here. I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 20 but add up to a -12. Well, 1 times 20 is 20 but adds up to 21. -1 times a -20 gives me a +20, but that adds up to be a -21. 2 times 10 is 20, but that adds up to be a +12. And a negative 2 times a negative 10 will multiply to a positive 20, but will add up to a negative 12. So those are my two numbers. Simply put, I'm just going to put in a negative 2 here and a negative 10 here. And I am almost finished. So I found the two values that we can substitute in here, a negative 2, negative 2, and a negative 10. And remember, you can put a plus sign between any terms. It's not going to change a thing. It's only going to clarify what it is you need to do. So at this point, what I want to do is set each of these, x equal to 0. And then I want to set x plus a negative 2 equal to 0. Solve for x. X plus a negative 10 equal to 0. And solve for x. That will give me, get my tongue out of the way. That will give me 3 or all three of the zeros of this particular function. So let's take a look. What does that look like? X equals 0, x plus a negative 2 equals 0, and x plus a negative 10 equals 0. So I've already solved for x here. X equals 0 there. So let's go ahead and solve for x. What's the opposite of a negative 2? That's a positive 2. Uh-oh, my pens are dying. And then what's the opposite of a negative 10? It's a positive 10. I'm going to need new pens here pretty soon. What you do to the left side of the equal sign, you're going to do to the right side as well. You want to balance your equations. And so let's see. X already equals 0 here. This is one of my answers. We have negative 2 plus a positive 2 cancels out. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Almost gave away the answer. If you haven't figured it out already, x equals 0 plus 2 is a positive 2. And again, negative 10 plus a positive 10 is 0, leaving me x all by itself equals 0 plus 10 is a positive 10. So now there are all three of your zeros of this function. X equals 0. See if I can straighten this out a little bit. X equals 0, x equals 2, x equals 10. Your answer is C. 0 and 2 and 10 are all of the zeros of this particular function. Hopefully this is helping you out a little bit. Hey, math is easy. Take it step by step. If I've helped you, please help me to continue helping you. I need new supplies, new pens. I'd like to get a new enhanced camera to help you understand that math is easy. Take it step by step. Thank you for your time.